The topic of condition and warranty is another important topic as far as from the examination point of view for the topic of contract of sale or the Sale of Goods Act 1930. And in this video, we'll be taking a look at the meaning of these two concepts and some implied conditions and warranties in the contract of sale. Now, condition basically means something which is essential to the main purpose of the contract, whereas a warranty is something which is collateral to the main purpose of the contract. It is not so essential that if it doesn't exist, then the contract will be cancelled. Whereas in case of say, let's just say you want to buy a car. Now you may be particular about the brand, whether you want petrol or diesel. That may be a condition, that may be something which you don't want to compromise on, brand, model, petrol or diesel, but you may be flexible as far as the color goes. So if they tell you that, okay, we thought that we would have so many white or red cars available, but that is not available, so would you go for a silver car? And you might be okay with it. So that is warranty. Whatever you're okay with, it is not so important that you need to cancel the contract, then that would be a warranty. Now, what is the effect of breach of condition? Now, breach of condition is a serious matter. It may lead to cancellation, rescission meaning cancellation of the contract, whereas in case of breach of warranty, a contract may not be cancelled. Why? Because as I said, it is not really very important or essential to the main purpose of the contract. There's some flexibility involved there. Now, as far as treatment of condition as warranty, it may be possible for you to treat a condition as warranty. That means it depends if you're flexible with it, or if you don't really have an issue about it, you don't want to make it a very big issue and cancel the contract, then you may treat a condition as a warranty. But you can under no circumstances treat a warranty as a condition and say, okay, now I want to cancel the contract, simply because condition is bigger, it is more important, and therefore it can be treated as smaller. But warranty is small and it is a minor concept, and it cannot be treated as a major concept suddenly as per your convenience. Now, what is the importance factors between condition and warranty? Condition is very important. It is essential to the main purpose of the contract. But in case of warranty, it is not so very important. It is not very essential to the main purpose of the contract, and therefore it is naturally less important. These are the main differences between condition and warranty. Now, whenever you have a contract of sale, you have certain implied conditions and warranties. That is understood. Implied means understood. So, what are those implied conditions? Condition as to title. Now, according to section 14A, in a contract of sale, there is an implied condition on the part of the seller that he has the right to sell. That means his title is clear. Now, there are certain exceptions to this rule which we will discuss later on in the chapter, but by and large it means this, that if you own something, you have the right to sell it, otherwise you do not have the right to sell it. A part owner may have a right to sell his goods off to the other person who jointly owns with him. So, condition as to title. Then sale by description. Now, wherever you enter into a contract of sale based on a certain description, where you give a description and say that, okay, I want watercolor paper and it should be 300 GSM or something like that, or I want printer paper, I want cartridge paper. You are describing for what purpose you want it. Or if you buy a notebook, obviously the paper should take ink well, it should not blot. So sale by description. Then a sale by sample, that is where you provide a sample and that sample should match with whatever item is being purchased by you. This may happen in case of a fabric, that you give a particular sample, or buying wool or something like that. You send that, you want that particular shade, you want that particular texture, you want that particular thickness. So sale by sample. You may also have sale by so basically, and in sale by sample, it means that when you are giving a sample, what is given to you, which is sold to you, that should match with the sample. Sale by sample and description means, obviously, if you are giving a sample and describing, you're making it still clearer for the person. Okay, so there again, the items which are sold to you should match with both the sample and the description. Now, as far as the implied condition of quality of witness goes, so basically it just means that if you're consuming food, it should be safe, it should be healthy. Or if you're buying cotton to weave fabric, it has to be of a certain quality. But if you are buying cotton base to clean machinery, it can be of a lower grade. You are communicating that. If you are buying cotton in a hospital to clean wounds, it has to be definitely of good quality, it has to be safe. So wherever you say that communicate what sort of quality you want or what sort of purpose you're going to use it for, then the item which is sold to you should match that particular quality standard or fitness. It should be suitable for that purpose. Now, merchantable quality basically means the implied condition of merchantable quality means that it, when you buy electronic items, they should not give you a shock, or the battery of your phone should not blow up or something like that. Cars, we see that what happens, we all hear of these things, that cars are recalled by top manufacturers because there is some defect which needs to be put right. That means it is not of merchantable quality, it needs to be put in order. Now, wholesomeness applies to food, it applies to medicine, anything that we consume, that it should be wholesome, it should be safe. And trade usage. Now, trade usage is, we know that acid is used for cleaning, and therefore it cannot be used for drinking purposes or something like that. A pesticide is used to get rid of pests, you cannot consume it. Now, these things are dictated by trade usage. Or even something like you use what size of paper, A4 size paper for office work, but you may need A3 size for a poster. So whatever is a trade usage, that applies as far as a sale goes. These are implied conditions. A contract of sale has certain implied warranties. Now, what are those? Warranty as to quiet possession. That means that is the jus in rem. The buyer has a right to enjoy and possess the goods as and how he wants, peacefully, without interference from anybody else, and he should not be disturbed by anybody else or any claims which are made against those items. And freedom from encumbrances, that is freedom from any particular charge or favor of any third party. If the buyer is not aware of this, that means if somebody stole something and they sold it to you, but you were not aware of the defective title, then you are free from those encumbrances, basically. Or you can say that where somebody was part owner and they sold the items to you, when you didn't know, you assumed that they were sole owner, then you are free from those encumbrances, basically. Warranty for disclosing the dangerous nature of goods, that this we see on medicines, we see the warnings on pesticides, we see them on electronic items and things like that, that has to be communicated to you as a buyer by the seller. And again, quality or fitness. Now this is again a repetition rather from implied condition, that you need to communicate for what particular purpose. When you, and the item which is sold to you, it should meet that particular purpose or requirement. It should be suitable for that. So that those are all implied warranties. The examples would be same what I just gave as far as implied conditions are concerned. So thank you for listening, and in the next video we'll be taking up the doctrine of caveat emptor, another important topic from examination point of view. Thank you. This is Dr. Mariam Narona.